Morocco. 3 hours from most of Europe, warm water, and none to 1 hour time zone change. Over a dozen well-known surf spots such as Anchor Point, Killers, Boilers and Draculas, but most surfers will tell you it's too crowded to bother with anymore. Well, a few weeks ago, I spent a week surfing around Taghazout. This means busy point breaks, sketchy reefs to get in and out of, a 4x4 hunt for empty waves, and one busted fin box. So if you're trying to figure out whether Morocco is still worth the trip in 2026, here's what it actually looked like. Spoiler alert, it's still magic. My name is James Davis. I'm originally a skydiver, and for over 10 years I competed and travelled around the world. When I started jumping, wind tunnels were just coming online, and they completely changed how people learned. So when wave pools began to appear, I wanted to see if I could do the same thing for surfing. Now this channel is about finding and showing the hidden gems that move the dial, great surfers and coaches, so everyday surfers can unlock new levels of progression, confidence and fun. It's been a busy winter back home with a few wave pool sessions in Bristol and Edinburgh. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know my thoughts on wave pools, which is they are like gyms and they complement the ocean but will never replace it. If you watched the last vlog, I tried to get as current as possible before I turn up to Morocco to make the most of the trip. So how did I get on? Well, you could split the trip into 3 sections with 3 completely different experiences. Let's start with the first one. Anchor Point. Anchors is well known, and for good reason. It's probably the most famous wave in Morocco and is easy to access. A super fun wave, but never an easy spot to get a wave at, as anyone who's surfed it will tell you. Small to medium conditions, a WQS event about to start, and a lineup loaded with local groms and juniors doesn't sound that appealing for an average surfer like me. The anchor madness worries me less and less nowadays. It is what it is, and if you don't let it upset you, there's kind of a skill to it. If it gets busy at the top of the point, then perhaps not being there is a smart move. Finding some other entry points a bit further down the point, where no one's swinging, makes a lot of sense. As does holding position without making enemies. But clearly there's a thin line between fun and becoming very demoralised and not getting any waves. The first 2 days were all anchor. Missed waves, endless paddling for not much reward, but I did end up scoring 3 of my best waves to date out of those sessions. This one went down the point for 4 or 5 turns. It sounds silly, but that wave alone made the week, which I guess is why so many people paddle out at Anchor Point and try and catch one. Next up, Boilers. Much heavier conditions for me, a new reef to learn, an awkward paddle out and paddle in, which not many people were fancying on this day. My priority list: paddle out in one piece, get some time in these conditions, don't get washed down to the next break, and find a way back in. Oh, and force myself into at least 3 waves. I've got a rule for these kind of sports, which is 20% about my ability is the max I'll play with. I believe it's called the Goldilocks principle, which keeps me out of my comfort zone, always learning, and whilst hopefully keeping me safe. Boilers was right on the edge of this. 99% of my time was spent paddling around, getting drilled, and quietly thanking myself for the longer surfboard outline I'd gone for. What I didn't expect, the most useful thing surfing at Boilers, was the surfing I watched from some of my mates. Paul and Dave are 2 friends who were on the trip and were clearly way better surfers than me, but watching where they were sitting and how they approached the session was super useful. So the big question I actually want to answer with this vlog is, in 2026, with surf cams and Instagram everywhere, can you still score empty waves in Morocco with a few mates and a 4x4? Or is that a story we tell ourselves about a previous version of the country? Now a quick disclaimer, because someone always asks this. I pay full price, I'm not sponsored, and I met Snoopy a few years ago when he was using his old Golf Mark II to do surf safari trips, which meant just a handful of surfers, hidden spots, empty lineups, in a country where everyone else was fighting for peaks. I wanted to know if this still existed. So here we are, 4 of us in the 4x4 hunting for waves. Sand dunes, remote reefs, beaches with no one on them. We scored this spot a few minutes before a storm rolled in and pushed us out. I generally try to ease myself into a new spot which I don't know, particularly when it's a bit punchier, and I'm not that sure of myself. But on this occasion, I should have moved inside sooner to try and catch a wave, as you never know when the waves or conditions are going to end. I guess hindsight's 2020. We found lots of empty spots which tended to be a bit of a paddle out from the shore, but every session was amazing, especially when I started catching waves and getting more confidence to swing for them. The trip ended with a busted fin box on the new board, which I'm choosing to read as a sign it was time to come home and recharge. But the answer to the question I came to find out was yes, Morocco is still magic, you just have to go looking for it. A big thanks to Paul, Monners, Petra and Snoopy. If you want to know where you can buy a cold beer in Agadir Airport at the end of your trip, then register for free at the new Hodi TV webpage that's now gone live. Send me a message and I'll share the little secret. Cheers, Paul. Nice find indeed. In the next vlog, it's back to the wave pool. Spring and summer are here, which means wave pool season, and it's time to finally address the dreaded backhand. Until next time, enjoy your surfing wherever that may be.